Hey, it's Dr. Charles, aka CoachMD. In my over 30 years of medical practice, I've made it my goal to help you create a great life by achieving a strong mind, a healthy body, and an unshakable spirit. Today, I want to talk to you about how do we rewire our brain. I've thought a lot about this over the years. I wrote a book about it, Brain Drain, to think about what our brain does to sabotage us and what we can do to reverse that so it works in our favor rather than against us. So let's take a look at this article, how to train your brain to go positive instead of negative. Our brain is not designed to create happiness as much as we wish it were so. Our brain evolved to promote survival. Yeah, I talk about this all the time. That's what it does, to protect us from danger, threats, and vulnerability, to fight or flee. That's all it's programmed for. We have a higher mind, as I've always talked about it as well, that can counteract that. So let's see what she has to say about it. It seems like it's going to be a good article. Our brain evolved to promote survival. It saves the happy chemicals dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin for opportunities to meet a survival need, and only releases them in short spurts, which are quickly metabolized. This motivates us to keep taking steps that stimulate our happy chemicals. Disagree a little bit with that, but we'll go with it. You can end up with a lot of unhappy chemicals in your quest to stimulate the happy ones, especially near the end of a stressful workday. There are a number of reasons why your brain goes negative. The bad feeling of cortisol has its own survival purpose. It alerts you to an obstacle on the path to meeting your needs so you can navigate your way to good feelings. Not quite how it works, but we'll go with it. But once you do that, your brain finds the next obstacle. You will feel bad a lot if you follow your survival brain wherever it leads. Fortunately, there's a simple way to rewire this natural negativity. I want to hear what she has to say before I comment any more because, it doesn't sound quite exactly how physiologically I believe things work, but let's see what she has to say. I mean, I'm open, very open to hear. Let's start with an example I call the dog poop paradox. Very funny. I just got in from walking my dog, cleaning up her poop this morning. Pet mess was everywhere when I was young because picking up after your pooch was not the norm. Then customs changed and the streets were gloriously cleaner. Did that make anyone happy? No. People barely noticed. They do notice an oops, however, and they get plenty mad about it. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, if it was the norm to leave the streets cluttered with poop, I think I'd notice that, honestly, if that was the norm. Our brain evolved to scan for problems, and it is skilled at finding problems when it looks. For example, reporters predicted the downfall of civilized society when the bicycle was invented. They warned that people would I don't know if all reporters, and when the bicycle was invented, how many reporters really were there? They warned that people would flit from here to there instead of having long conversations, and that we'd retire early from exhaustion instead of conversing in the evening. We have inherited the brain that helped our ancestors notice threats in time to act. We are skilled at finding threats even as we seek rewards. Not skilled, it's automatic. That's why I call it the automatic brain. I got to comment on it now, okay? Our brain scans the landscape 24/7 to pick up any instances that may have the possibility of danger, threat, or vulnerability. Not probability, okay? It could be an infinitesimal probability. Yet, the mere fact that there's a possibility of danger often causes our brain to fight or flee it. That's the danger that she's talking about, scanning the landscape. But that danger doesn't have to be an overt or obvious danger. It could be an internal danger. It could be something that stimulates a memory from childhood that causes you to fight or flee. So let's see how build yourself a positivity circuit. Negativity will engulf you unless you build yourself a positivity circuit. To do that, spend 1 minute looking for positives 3 times a day for 45 days. This trains your brain to look for positives the way it is already trained to look for negatives. That's interesting. What I usually do to rewire the brain or suggest it is to, well, let's see what she has to say, and then I'll continue. You may think there aren't enough positives in the awful world around you, but you don't have to perform in Carnegie Hall and rescue orphans from burning buildings to create positivity. Any positives, no matter how small, will build a pathway that seeks and expects positives. Just appreciate the absence of dog poop on the path in front of you, and neural connections will develop. It may seem false to seek out positives when negatives are so apparent, but as explained in my prior post, 7 Reasons Why Your Brain Goes Negative, your present lens is false and in need of correction. I don't disagree with that. Let me know what you think. And the link for this article will be in the description of this video. So if you want to look at this 7 Reasons Why Your Brain Goes Negative, it'll be in the article that you can get through the link. And let me know what you think. Again, comments and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate that. Hit the like button also. It's hard to go positive when everyone around you is going negative. Your mammal brain wants to run when the rest of the herd runs. In the state of nature, you'd end up in the jaws of a predator if you ignored your group mates' threat signals and waited to see the threat for yourself. Mammals bond around shared threats, and fighting the common enemy raises a mammal status within the group, but it also is a source of protection. What are you? If you're the lone sheep, are you in less danger than you would be if you were part of the herd? No, you'd be in more danger. If you ignore the perceived threats that animate your group mates, you will probably pay the price in social rewards. Positivity has a cost, but the benefit is greater. That's why you have to surround yourself with positivity and positive people. When you build your positivity circuit, you will pair your negativity with personal agency and realistic expectations. Okay, interesting, cute. Personal agency is the pleasure of choosing your next step. You can never predict the results of your efforts, but you always get to choose the next step toward meeting your needs when your cortisol surges. Realistic expectations are the alternatives you generate when your cortisol surges. Though it's natural to have a survival threat feeling when your efforts fail to bring immediate visible rewards, you can remind yourself that your survival is not actually threatened. Most human achievement came from efforts that did not bring immediate visible rewards. When your results are disappointing, you can adjust your expectations and take another step. And so that's when you can embrace the idea that I say, that short-term pain leads to long-term gain, okay? But long-term pain, short-term pain leads to long-term gain, and short-term gain leads to long-term pain. So if you have that mindset, so if you're going through something that's challenging, it's that short-term pain can lead to long-term gain. But if you look for the instant gratification, the short-term gain, in other words, that often leads to long-term pain. So also that perspective can help a lot. And I'm going to go over a couple when we finish this article in a couple seconds. Pair and you will reap, because realistic expectations lead to acting personally. Well, you will stimulate your own happy chemicals instead of just hoping the world stimulates them for you. Let me know what you think about this article. I'm not, I think it falls short. I think it really, it takes, it kind of simplifies. Yeah, sure, look for the positive. Practice looking for the positive. That's good, but it doesn't, she talks a lot about cortisol here. It doesn't talk about norepinephrine or epinephrine, the adrenaline that goes when we fight or flee. You have to understand that our brain is constantly scanning the landscape for potential dangers, threats, or vulnerability. That could be in the form of embarrassment. That could be in the form of stepping outside your comfort zone. Rewiring the brain a lot of times is about tricking the brain. So when a circumstance you would think is dangerous or threatening to you, if you can somehow convert that into something that is safe or that your brain perceives as safe. So For instance, making the uncomfortable comfortable, making the unexpected expected, making the abnormal normal. By doing those things, you can rewire your brain so you don't fight and flee it. And a lot of times that means taking little baby steps. That means taking a baby step out of your comfort zone and then bringing that other foot into that to meet your foot and not bringing the front foot back. Because a lot of times to try to make the uncomfortable comfortable, we take that step into the uncomfortable and it feels so uncomfortable and so scary that we bring that foot back. What I'm saying is take a baby step out, right outside the edge of that comfort zone. Bring your other foot to meet it. And then take another step. You're slowly expanding it. And gradually that rewires your brain. So you no longer fight or flee it. Our brain doesn't think. You might be surprised to hear that. It only reacts. We do have a thinking mind, but our brain doesn't think, it only reacts. So let me know what you think. Until next time. Let me know what you think with your mind. All right, until next time, I'm Dr. Charles, a.k.a. CoachMD, urging you to stay strong in mind, in body, and most importantly, right here in soul. Bye for now.
Dr. Charles, CoachMD. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to like and comment below. I'd love to hear from you. If you think you have a friend who might benefit from this video, share it with them. For access to exclusive content, support my Patreon. There you'll get private access to videos, meditations, health tips, even relationship and financial tips. You'll have a say in what I produce and be able to participate in a monthly call with me. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you soon.